Hello, sir. Hello, I read recently that managing a new business is very difficult. Is this so?
Well, you are absolutely right. In fact, managing any business is a challenge. This may be much more in the case of a small startup company, especially when the entrepreneur doesn't have enough background in that. The other day I was talking to Mrs. Taneja about the way she started her business. Ajit, you have a settled life. Your husband is a very successful executive. Then why did you decide to become an entrepreneur?
एक्चुअली इच्छा तो बहुत पहले से थी कि कुछ किया जाए, पर मेरे हस्बैंड की पोस्टिंग एक बहुत छोटे से विलेज में थी जो सिटी से बहुत दूर था। बच्चे भी छोटे थे, तो 10 साल तक हम वहाँ थे। उसके बाद ट्रांसफर हुआ, बच्चे बड़े हो गए, तो लगा कि कुछ अब किया जा सकता है। तो कुछ क्या किया जाए, ये कुछ डिसाइडेड नहीं था, लेकिन मन था कि कुछ बिजनेस करें जिससे मेरा टैलेंट भी यूज हो और कुछ अर्निंग भी हो। तो मैंने ये स्टार्ट किया 1993 में।
1993?
Yes.
What was your husband's response to your idea of starting a business?
Yes. मैंने अपने मन में डिसाइड किया और फिर मैंने अपने हस्बैंड से बात की कि आप ज़्यादा टाइम ऑफिस में रहते हैं, आपके जॉब ऐसा है, बच्चे भी बड़े हो चुके हैं, तो मेरे पास काफी अपने लिए टाइम होता है, तो आप दिन में कितना घर का काम कर लोगे, तो मेरे को कुछ करने की इच्छा है। तो मैं बोला कि वेरी गुड, और उन्होंने हमेशा मेरा साथ दिया।
Soft toys is an interesting product, but why did you pick it up as a product to do business in?
हाँ, एक्चुअली मेरा जो करने की कुछ इच्छा थी ट्रेडिंग से थी, कि ऐसी कोई ट्रेडिंग हो, ऐसी चीज की कोई मार्केटिंग हो जिसको बाद में हम मैन्युफैक्चर कर सकें। तो मैं कुछ ढूंढ रही थी ट्रेडिंग के लिए, तो मुझे एक सप्लायर मिला जिसके पास प्रोडक्ट था लेकिन मार्केटिंग फैसिलिटी अवेलेबल नहीं थी। तो मैंने प्रोडक्ट देखा और वो प्रोडक्ट is software.
Did you think that there was a market for it earlier itself? And was it the reason why you thought that, okay, let me get into this business?
I liked it. I liked it very much. बच्चों के कोई भी आइटम, टॉय, चिल्ड्रन वेयर, छोटे छोटे कपड़े मुझे बहुत पसंद थे, तो मुझे देखते ही वो आइटम बड़ा पसंद आया और मैं इसमें कुछ कर सकती थी।
अच्छा, is there any special reason to give it my friend as a brand name?
हाँ, yes. Actually, टॉय बच्चा खरीदता है, तो किस लिए खरीदता है? एज अ फ्रेंड उसको रखता है, कंपेनियन, बहुत टाइम उसके साथ बिताता है, वो खेलता है, अपनी कंप्लेन बताता है, अपनी प्रॉब्लम भी उससे बात भी करता है। तो मदर अपने काम में बिजी होती है, तो बहुत टाइम बच्चा इसके साथ खेलता है, तो उसको फील होता है कि मेरा फ्रेंड है, मैं इससे कुछ बात कर सकता हूँ, मैं इसको मारूंगा तो भी मेरे को कुछ नहीं कहेगा, तो मैं इसके साथ फाइट भी कर सकता हूँ।
In fact, she had a wonderful product, soft toys to start with. This is not the case with most small entrepreneurs. If you find a good product in the market, they try to imitate. And that means that a number of people go after that product, and most often all of them fail. So the choice of the product is one important thing. You would have also noticed that there are two other observations one can make about Mrs. Taneja. One is the transition. She was able to make a transition from a housewife to managing a business. So the skills required for managing a business, I think she has drawn a lot from her experience of running the family, which may sound silly, but in fact that is true, especially for women entrepreneurs. The second aspect is the transition from a housewife to an entrepreneur when the family dynamics is involved. Earlier her full-time attention was devoted to her husband, her children, the rest of the family, and now there is some other demand on her time. And it's interesting to find that how Mr. Taneja, her husband, and in fact her daughters, they took to this idea. Shyam, your wife has been spending all the time for the family all these years, and suddenly when she decided to become an entrepreneur, what was your response?
I would say it was mixed. I was in a very senior position and she wanted to do direct marketing. I think I thought that I must support her, encourage her to develop as an entrepreneur.
What sort of role do you play in the build-up of this business? Now that it has grown from scratch and it's become somewhat, it's faster growing.
Basically, I don't devote much of time. I do only support in terms of business strategies and give them something which I have experienced in my life over the years. For example, brand must be focused rather than commodity selling. It's a strategy which I have influenced them.
Neeru, your mother started this business and you have got involved, and she must have had certain expectations, certain vision about the business. Do you think that you share those visions with her? And are there any major problems you face in terms of running the business, in terms of expansion, growth, and things like that?
Yeah, my mother started in a small way, and eventually she started realizing that it was a good product and we could really get into it. After that, we have, even when I was not involved in this way, I was involved as a family member, giving her support and all that. After that, I realized that this was something which we could give to us and we could this was her vision and we could get it for her. We could expand it really if we wanted to work hard on it. So there have been problems, but not major as such.
You thrash it out.
Yeah.
Did you, maybe over the dinner table or something like that, you meet and discuss every day almost?
Yeah, we usually discuss because when it becomes a family business, you really don't, any time of the night, you sit and discuss it. It's okay.
Right. Any part of the
any
day,
part of the day, it's all right.
Everybody is together, you
discuss it.
You can discuss.
Yeah.
But you have an electronics engineering background.
Yeah.
And how is this transition? Do you find it difficult or not?
No.
Compared to your own cherished ambition and things like that?
I don't find it difficult because I had been working for her, some very small way, or just trying to help her. So I had an idea of the product, and when I got into it, it was not that I did not know anything about it, because I knew quite a lot about it. And now I'm learning that is there, and I have this that I should use my electronics in a way that the toy becomes interactive with the child. Because right now it's there with you. If the toy could talk to you, maybe I would prefer it much more. So I'm trying to develop and trying to get new designs so that you can have a lot of interaction between the toy and the child. So
which means that instead of becoming a constraint, it's coming to you as an advantage.
Yes, it is.
There's another interesting thing is that small businesses most often start as family businesses. There's a lot of involvement of the family in that. The motivation level, in fact, the morale of the whole project is supported, is going up because of the family support. In fact, there are other dimensions. One is that the skill available in the family is all available to you. It's a varied skill. For instance, in the case of Mrs. Taneja, her daughter has done an electronics engineering degree, and she is thinking of using this electronics engineering degree to the advantage of the firm by introducing soft toys with electronic equipments, interactive toys. That's what she talks about.
And what are the other challenges of managing at this stage?
Jitin, I was in fact discussing precisely this point with Neeru, the daughter of Mrs. Taneja. Neeru, there is a general perception among small-scale entrepreneurs that they should start with manufacturing. Why is it that you did not start with this sort of an approach?
Kawal, we wanted to have a feel of the market before we actually got into manufacturing. So we decided consciously not to start manufacturing until unless we knew about the market a lot more. So only after a period of somewhere around 3 years we have really gone into manufacturing at this stage.
But soft toys is not a very, very popular product in the market. Did you face a lot of problems in marketing there?
Yes, it is not very popular at this moment, and the only problem...
Maybe when you started, how was it?
It was not very difficult to sell, but it was not very popular either.
I see. What was the sort of turnover you had in the beginning?
In the first year of our this working, we had for the part of the year we had a 1 lakh turnover.
Which year was it?
At 93-94. After that, we touched 13 lakhs for 94-95, and for the last year we have touched somewhere around 23 lakhs.
Oh, which is very good. And you may be touching much more.
Much more this year.
Right. That means that the market is really picking up.
Yeah, it is really expanding at the moment.
What are the major challenges you are facing?
My mother, she had to start at a very low level, like, you know, she...
Can you explain how she went about building up the business?
Yeah, because first she brought some samples and then she went to shops, showed them to the people. The people were very reluctant because, you know, they were not very sure what the sales would be. So she had to, you know, convince them saying, why don't you keep it for some time? We'll come and collect it back if you're not selling it, you know. So she had to give them some credit, give it to them, and that is the way we started slowly. But after now, generally I feel there is a better know-how of the product at the moment.
Where did she start selling first?
We started selling firstly in Vidyanagar, a very small town.
Near Baroda.
That's near Baroda. It's a very small town, and a couple of shops only. Then we saw that it had a potential, so we went to Baroda, then we went to Ahmedabad.
Which are the other places covered now?
We have covered almost the entire of Gujarat at the moment, and we have a part of Rajasthan also. We have gone up to Abu and Mount Abu and all that places.
We find, I have seen that several types of softwares are available in the market. Is there a difference in the quality, or does it become an important factor for the buyer?
Yes, the quality varies a lot in this. As the quality varies, the price also varies a lot. So we face a lot of problem, you know, because maybe many people cannot tell one quality apart from other. So they would, you know, question our thing, why is this costlier and why is this not, why is this cheap? So quality makes a lot of difference, and there are various types of qualities in the market at the moment.
So the range is very vast.
Very vast.
How does the retailer react to these sort of things? Do you sell through exclusive outlets, or do you sell through general shops, or what?
We generally now sell through toy shops, gift shops, and children wear clothes, you know, children clothing shops and that kind of shops right now at the moment. The retailer usually would try to push your product if his margins are high.
Right.
That is the major. He's
not worried about brand or anything?
No, he's not at all. He would rather push the product, because even if he gets 5 rupees extra on one product, and even if it is a worse quality than ours, he would, you know, portray to the customer, "Ye bahut acha hai, take this."
Okay.
And generally that customer would get influenced.
So does it mean that you also give him credit?
Yes, that is one of the major problems which a small firm like us faces, because we have to, the credit limits are very heavy, and getting payment is very difficult.
How many days probably?
We have somewhere around 30 to 45 days, and it even stretches more. It depends on the retailer basically.
Right.
And we cannot really close down every retailer, because that is the way the market operates these days.
Right. And what are the major outstanding problems? Do you think of advertising in the television or something, which is the most general way of promoting the product?
The most marketing problems, I would guess, is a small firm like us really cannot afford a lot of funds for marketing. Even though we have not worried about profits till now, and we have really tried to get our brand name popular, but it does take a lot of cost for advertising, which is not affordable at the moment. And it's the toys as such is getting general awareness at the moment, so it is ready to expand. The market is going to be better and better nowadays.
You must have noticed that Mrs. Taneja did not start with manufacturing, as in the case of most entrepreneurs. They start with manufacturing, then worry about marketing. In her case, she started with marketing. And that enabled her to pick up the marketing skills, establish the product, and ensure that there is a pull coming from the market. So she spent, in fact, 3-4 years, 2-3 years at least, first pushing on the market. And also this enabled her to have better time management, in the sense that there was no pressure coming from the other functions. For the next stage, she is getting into manufacturing. For most startup companies, the major challenge is that you have to work on several fronts simultaneously. You have to work on finance, you have to raise funds, you have to get materials, you have to get the production all right, you may have to establish the technology, sometimes the technology is new, you may have to also recruit new people, sell the product and so on. So it's a multifarious function. So unless you can work on all the fronts simultaneously, it is better to start on one front, then gradually expand. That is one of the reasons why the service sector is offering a lot of opportunity for the small scale. And many of the service sector people, small scale people, once they establish, they try to backward integrate. They get into manufacturing at a later stage, when they are confident that they are good in the market.
Can you elaborate on the need for finance a little bit?
Well, finance is the lifeblood of business, as you know. And without finance, you can't run a business. The interesting thing about new enterprise is that sometimes you may have to start with very little of capital, as it happened in the case of Mrs. Taneja. But the challenge is, how do you manage to build up the business from a almost scratch, from a scarce situation?
She started business and she said that she was prepared to sacrifice her own, whatever savings she had, and therefore she started with her own investments in her own savings.
What was the total amount? Did you?
I guess it was only some 70,000 rupees that she started, and that too she also partly sold off her jewelry for that.
Yes, I would say there were a lot of constraints. Fund was a major, and
have you taken some borrowings from the banks?
we have a bank who lends us money, but that of course is very limited because it depends on the sales and all that.
So it's a related thing.
Yeah, it's a related thing.
Yeah.
So you really have to perk up your sales before you get the money. That is the way it works.
Right. And advertising means a lot of money.
Advertising means a lot of money, but we have been trying to, in a small way that we can, we have been trying to put our brand, and I think we have been successful, at least in Ahmedabad, because people are more conscious of our brand.
How do you advertise now? Which are the media you are using now? What are you using?
We are not really using much of media this time. We do not.
Word of mouth.
Word of mouth, and that the one customer who has taken is satisfied with our quality comes back to us.
Oh, I see.
That is
very good.
That is the confidence we have
and that's a
in our
test of the
product.
quality of the product also.
That's it.
Jitin, you need a very clear vision if you want to start from scratch. You should know what direction you want to take, how you are going to build up the business. That's what exactly happened in the case of my friend. You will have to work on several fronts simultaneously. You have to have the production, you have to expand operations, you have to expand market gradually. But that's not very easy. The reason is that if you are scarce of resources, then how do you go about doing it? One of the major challenges faced by many small businesses these days is getting into the growth phase. You need a lot of money. For instance, advertisement. Television advertisement is pretty expensive. So that gets you into a very, very funny situation where you don't have money and therefore you can't advertise. And without advertisement, you can't grow. So how do you sort out this sort of a situation? That's a major challenge. And therefore, probably you should grow up to a certain stage and then tap some business resources, maybe from financial institutions. Banks may be willing to give you funds, or there may have to be a pull creator from the market, something like a creeping strategy.
I have also read that technology absorption is very critical.
It is so. In fact, all businesses, especially if they are in manufacturing, technology absorption becomes very critical, whether they are in the high technology intensive business or not. Even a soft toy, which looks like a very simple product, there's a lot of technology involved. Two things. One is getting the right quality raw materials. Second is, you can't just put the things and stitch it together. You can't get a product because you want shapes. The children, if they want to play with a soft toy, it should look like a teddy bear or a dog or a cat or whatever it is. So getting that sort of perfection is very, very difficult. Even skill, you can say, as part of the technology.
The most critical part, I would say, is designing, because it's not easy to, it may look easy, but it is not at all easy, because there's so many parts which come together to make it, you really would make some design, and when you stitch it together, it really looks something very different. So that is a major problem at the moment.
A lot of imagination, creativity,
yeah,
everything
lot of it.
into that. What about the raw materials?
Raw material
is the quality of raw material very important or not?
Yes, for us it is, because we want to give quality material to the consumers, and the major problem which we face in manufacturing again is raw material, because in India there is no manufacturing unit manufacturing good raw material, quality raw material. We have to get everything imported, and the imported material, batch wise the quality varies. So we really cannot standardize our product at the moment. Once you have a batch, it will have very good quality, and the second will you not find the same color again or something of that sort.
So it's a bit tricky.
That is a difficult part. Sometimes in the market you won't even get fur. So you will have to wait, or you have to buy in bulk, and you really have to carry the inventory with you. That's it.
Does it mean that you need all-round capabilities at the startup stage?
You're absolutely right, Jitin. All new enterprises, or let me say most of the small new enterprises, start from a point where there is no identity for the firm. It's almost like a building up of a personality. You don't know, your own capabilities are not known to the outside world. You are producing something, or you are offering some services to the customers. Customers are not aware of you. You have to tell them that you have something unique to offer them. You have to also tell them that this is the best thing for them to meet their requirements, and which is not very easy. That is why you need all-round capabilities, because you have to worry about the market. You have to be a finance manager, you have to be a marketing manager, you have to be a production expert, you have to be a good person in terms of human relations. This means that you should be a jack of all trades. Well, that's not the end of the story. This is a point where you are working with very little of resources. It's a scarcity situation. So you don't have enough money to buy your raw materials often. You can't employ all the best people in the world. So that means that you need a lot of grit, determination, and a clear vision. So without that, you just can't grow. The point in emphasizing this aspect is not to tell you, or not to make you worry about the new venture management of a business. The point is that one should understand this, one should be appreciative of this situation, that things are not good, things are very difficult. But through this understanding, if one is prepared for this sort of a fight, and if one can go through this process, their success is yours. And which also means that one should try to compress this phase where you can go through this crisis stage, early setup stage, and move into a growth phase where things are comfortable, where you will have enough resources, where customer will be happy with your product, customers will be coming after you. And to reach that, you have to try to compress this stage.